All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the second edition from Korkies Corner. We've got a lot of positive feedback from the first episode in terms of viewership, likes, comments. We really do appreciate all of that, so we're glad to continue with the second episode. Joining me, of course, is my co-host, writer of Ice Cold and Deadly, working on the upcoming projects, the animated comedy YouTube series Seeking Sad Guru, and writing his own book, The Bettman Conspiracy. Of course, my dad, Mike Corky.
Hello, everyone. Great to be here.
Yep. So today we have a very interesting edition where you get to learn more about our tastes when it comes to hockey jerseys, which we'll be ranking each of our top five favorite hockey jerseys of all time. We don't know what the other person has picked, but that'll be very interesting to see coming up on the show. But first off, I do want to talk about the one positive thing about Vegas winning the Stanley Cup, and that is Phil Kessel gets to eat hot dogs out of a Stanley Cup once again.
It's hardly worth it.
I mean,
I
I
love
would
Phil.
say,
I love Phil, but I really didn't want to see anybody in a Vegas uniform win the Stanley Cup. But there's no sense rehashing all that. So onward we go.
yep. All right. So I guess we'll go first, just based on the way I'm going to be screen sharing. I will cover my number five and number four. And then, well, no, I'll let you go first here with your number five, and then I'll do five and four, and then you do four and three, and then we'll go down two at a time for each person. So I'll let you start at number five. Dad, what do you think is the fifth greatest hockey jersey of all time?
It is this jersey right here. The Edmonton Oilers Classic Copper and Blue. Now, it's probably not a popular choice. A lot of people like the Oilers Royal Blue. I just don't see it. How can you not like the clean, crisp lines of this? You've got the iconic logo. You've got a great color combination with the dark blue and the coppers. And not only that, you've got a classic third logo, the oil derrick guy, and that kind of became a staple of the 90s logos, was adding in the third logo. And the Oilers don't use this nearly as much as I'd like them to, but this was a great add onto what was already a classic jersey.
I very much agree with you, Dad. I love that jersey as well. I have a lot of fond memories from it. One thing I didn't notice as a kid that I've noticed in older age, I really do like just the little touch of red to the copper. It's not there a lot, but I actually do think it does add a lot to the jersey as a whole in the red. Of course, when you think Oilers, you don't think the color red. I do think the royal blue and orange is a little bit more iconic in hockey history for obvious reasons. But because that jersey is so iconic, this jersey is, I think, one of the most overlooked jerseys in hockey history.
Yeah, and iconic doesn't always mean nice, right? So
Right.
that it's we're basing it on the appearance, the overall look,
Right.
and not only do I like this jersey, my preferred reverse retro this year would have been reversing the blue and the copper and having a predominantly copper, and
Right.
then probably swapping out the logo. So anyway, that's a little off topic, but that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to see for a reverse retro this year.
All right, that's more than fair. Now with me, I believe there might have been a screen cap of it. Hopefully, it didn't pick it up right away. But for me, my fifth greatest hockey jersey of all time is, of course, the St. Louis Blues Winter Classic jersey. I love this jersey. I'm not a big St. Louis Blues fan. I do enjoy watching their rivalry with Colorado, but they knocked it out of the park because this is also a throwback to their original jersey. So if you want to include St. Louis's original jersey, some of these jerseys have come back in different generations. And if you want to include them in like as a whole, as part of the different generations, whether it's made by Reebok or CCM or I don't know who made jerseys before Starter, but whoever made jerseys before Starter, you can. But this powder blue, off white, and gold yellow look to me is the best look St. Louis has ever had in their design. They have a history of a lot of nice jerseys, but for me, this Winter Classic one and any jersey that's similar is what they should go to full time. I even think the darker blue gloves and the dark blue pants actually kind of look nice here. Normally, I don't like when you mix two shades of the same color, but for this one, mwah. So
Okay. I mean, no disagreements here.
yep. All right. And then coming up with my fourth favorite hockey jersey. This one will probably be surprisingly low given who my favorite team is. But I have, of course, the Hartford Whalers. Just Gordie Howe wore this jersey. It's really nice. I was tempted between choosing the green and the blue because I think the Whalers blue that they wore before they relocated to become the greatest organization in the history of sports before that is very underrated. But I mean, you can't top the green Whalers jersey. I think
Yeah.
it's iconic for a reason. And there are three jerseys I think are nicer, but that's no insult to this jersey. When people rank this as the greatest hockey jersey of all time, I can't disagree, especially that with that shoulder patch logo.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do think that the shoulder patch is a nice touch. Although sometimes the versions without that are a little cleaner, but it's solid, very solid. And incidentally, this one of our we do a uniform bracket on Facebook, and this was the winner a couple of years ago. I think we were doing I
Yeah.
don't remember I don't remember what the category was. This last year we did the reverse retro, but this one 2 years ago.
Yep. All right. Let me just. All right. So, Dad, why don't you get into what is your fourth favorite hockey jersey of all
Well,
time?
I want to remind everybody that, as Jonathan said at the beginning, that we did not pre-plan. We did not tell each other what our choices were, and I all I can say is great minds think alike, because this was my number four all-time uh, favorite jersey, and like John said, it's clean, the darker gloves. I have bias because I wore almost a carbon copy of this jersey in one of my college teams, and so I can't get enough of this jersey. I think they should switch to it full time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And can you imagine how good that road jersey would look with the off white? We don't have a single off white road jersey in the NHL. If they do that with the same color scheme and everything and the same striping, oh boy, I think that would sell out in minutes.
Yeah. So good job by us. Good job by the Blues.
Yeah,
Okay,
Blues killed
moving
it.
on to my number three. San Jose Sharks early iterations. These are, they've had a lot of good jerseys over the years. Not a whole lot of. I would say that they're one team um, that doesn't have a whole lot of range between their best and their worst jerseys, but I really like the black added. And when they first came into the league, I was actually so impressed with the way they did the branding and the logo and the jerseys, that I actually, on my outdoor rink, I actually got one of the guys I worked at the rink to give me some ice paint, and I painted this logo on our outdoor rink. Is how much I liked it. That would have been right around 1991 sometime.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree. That one actually isn't my favorite San Jose Sharks jersey of all time. It honestly, like San Jose, they have had their branding for years. They nailed it. I think their most recent jersey that they've rebranded to is probably their weakest.
Yep, I
Um,
agree.
but even their weakest jersey is still, I would say, probably top 15 jerseys in the NHL at least, and that's a very high estimate. I could maybe still put it in my top 10 because the teal and black go very well together. It just that yeah, they nailed their branding from the start. I can't disagree too much, even if we didn't pick the same San Jose jersey. So now let
Well,
me.
then, yeah, I mean, there are some teams that when you and I believe that we'll get into that, that when you go from their top to their bottom, the discrepancies are unbelievable. But San Jose's been pretty consistently good.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Let me just see here. Zoom is making it difficult to click on my number three pick. I have the Colorado Avalanche. I went with their CCM jersey because I do prefer the black pants, and I think the two stripes with the black and white stripe looks very like is better than the silver stripe. But if you want to include Colorado's Adidas rebrand and even the blue pants, I the blue pants grew on me. I still prefer the black gear with this jersey. I think the black gear actually looks very nice. Black gear does go with everything. So, but That's why I picked it. And you can pick between the white and maroon. I had a hard time. I prefer dark jerseys over white jerseys, but Colorado, you want to talk about the silver lining here so far of our picks, other than maybe St. Louis, but I don't think St. Louis has had a terrible jersey in their history, other than the one they never wore. But if you want to pick teams that nailed their branding from the start, Colorado is absolutely one of the teams that nailed it. And there's a reason they never gone away from that logo or that color scheme. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Well, I couldn't disagree. I couldn't disagree more, John. This is, I would have almost picked this for my bottom five. Now, if you'll notice, there seem to be skating along rats. So what this would have been is this would have been the 1996 Stanley Cup final against Florida when the Florida team had the tradition of throwing rats on the ice. Well, I think this time they were throwing rats on the ice in disgust because Colorado had just won. But if you look at this, if you look at this from top to bottom, I can just start to point out the flaws. So this three-tiered sock thing here, that's awful. Like blue, gray, maroon. Um, pick a pattern. Don't This is not a pattern. This is like a cat scratching pole. And then the black, I mean, I'm okay with the black, but I think what you were seeing here is people kind of liked it because again it was novel. It was their first year in the league. They had been the Nordiques, and they did their best to get as far away from the Nordiques brand as they could, which maybe they're going to go back to it a little bit more. But this was too, they didn't need to go this far away. This is a terrible logo. That this A logo,
L. That's a
huh?
massive L.
An
L
L.
take by you. Lost. That's a lost take by you because that logo. Why? There's a reason Colorado has never changed their logo. And I mean the two stripes. I just think it looks nice. I think it's almost perfect. It's busy, but it's clean at the same time. Because when teams manage to merge busy with clean, I love that. You have the rocky pattern here, but then it's very clean in the middle with that beautiful shade of maroon. The socks I can actually kind of understand, but I do like it because it still goes with the jersey. I think if I could change one thing, it would be that that sock would not be silver, but Colorado did kind of fix it. So if you want to kind of trade out the this one with their current Adidas jersey, I think that's more than fair. I kind of lump them together, but I do prefer the OGs slightly.
What I'd like to see Colorado do is gradually head back to pretty much a Nordiques branding, maybe with their own logo and their own Colorado touches. But they had great jerseys. They didn't need to go this far away from it.
Well, speaking of the Nordiques, I do agree that it was a downgrade because, of course, number two, the Quebec Nordiques. Now, it was between who I put on the list, it was between them and Montreal. I think what's interesting with the Nordiques, it's so nice. Not only do they do Quebec colors better than Montreal, they do blue and white better than Toronto all at the same time. This jersey is iconic. I think a lot of people want the Nordiques, myself included, to come back just so we can see this jersey on the ice again. I think it's borderline perfect. Maybe I'd like to see some red on the pants and socks. I'd be interested to see a modernized version of it, but it's still the logo's clean somehow, even though you can barely tell it's an igloo. It looks right. So yeah, any thoughts on the Nordiques jersey, Dad?
No, I guess we'll just go to my number two.
All righty, just let me. All right, Dad, why don't you share with us your number two favorite hockey jersey of all time?
People are going to get pretty confused, and this is just boring pod. But we not only picked the same jersey, we picked the exact same picture. And I think this is what I'm talking about with the Avalanche. They've got this blue in their jerseys now, and I think they can just migrate slowly, with their own logo instead of the Nordique here. This would be just a fantastic adaptation of the old Nordiques brand if the Avalanche went to this. The one that you picked, again, I can't hide my disdain for that. But if they manage to get back to this, we'd be in Jersey heaven.
Have you shared your number three pick yet?
Yeah, my number three pick was the Sharks.
Okay,
So
so
I'll let.
all right, you want me to go ahead and lead with my number one favorite jersey of all time?
Have you done all the way through number two,
Yeah, I've done
or
number
was that?
two. The Nordiques were both of our number twos. So if you wanted to give points to this, the Nordiques would probably win. So it might not be the greatest jersey, but the next jersey I'm going to share is absolutely my favorite jersey of all time. I think it's definitely top 10 if I take my bias out of it. But I have, of course, I'm wearing it right now, the tropical storm jersey of the Carolina Hurricanes, their first black alternate. This is my favorite jersey of all time. So I decided to be incredibly biased and put it at number one because I think in your bracket, it got matched up against the Whalers that ultimately won. But I mean, you just look at this. The black looks nice. The gray looks nice. They included the storm flag here with like the faded black where you can barely make it out. I love the addition they made with the charcoal logo, which is so good that they continued it on their new alternate. And then, of course, you have the red numbers, which I always like when jerseys manage to make a non-white number work in their jersey. So just everything about this is great. I would love for Carolina. I don't need to see this exact jersey come back because I think the logo on the new one's better. But if you could combine aspects of this alternate with their now current home jersey, it would be a home run and probably the best Hurricanes jersey of all time, and would probably even top this one for best Hurricanes jersey of all time. But of course, me being biased, I'm ranking this as the best hockey jersey of all time because it's my favorite.
It's a great jersey. When you consider that the Whalers and the Hurricanes are the same organization, they've had some pretty solid branding over the years. I'm not a real fan of the way they've done the stripes on here, but I'm not going to argue too strenuously about this being a nice jersey. I just definitely wouldn't have it as the number one all time. That's your bias. You're being intellectually dishonest, Jonathan.
No, hey, I am being full disclosure. This is my bias, but I grew up loving this jersey. When I would play video games, I would always pick the Hurricanes alternate because it's an absolutely beautiful jersey. And I've loved it since it came into the league in 2009, and I've never stopped loving it. So there you have it, my number one jersey, the one I'm wearing. My dream jersey would be able to get a print more one of this, but why don't you share your favorite hockey jersey or what you think is the greatest jersey of all time if you didn't go that way?
I think it's the greatest jersey of all time, and it's I don't think it's up for debate. I think I think this Johnny Canuck, this definitely is the greatest hockey logo of all time. You can come at me. I'm not going to listen to you. This just captures everything Canadian, especially Western Canadian, right here with that logo. And then the way they put the color combinations together here, I love the dark blue. That's where my bias comes out. I love the dark blue, and that it's a nice offset to the green and white. Almost everything's perfect here with the way they've done the lines. It's so good that they've even done a magnificent job of incorporating the jersey ads, which I'm a big fan of. I do like jersey ads. I think it adds some color. I think it adds some color and just a little bit of variation to jerseys that you don't wouldn't get if we didn't have jersey ads. So this is my all-time favorite,
An absolute
and
squid. No, I'm not letting you end the show complimenting a jersey ad because I'll tell you what, this jersey was absolutely number six on my list. It was between that and the Blues Winter Classic to go in at the number five spot. I even thought about putting it above the Whalers green at one point. However, the problem is what did it for me. We have not had a jersey without the jersey ad on it. The fact that that jersey does not exist without a jersey ad on it puts it right out of my top five.
but look what a great job they did of incorporating the jersey
They
ad.
got lucky. They got lucky that
No, I think it was
that
all part of the plan.
the fact that TD sponsored them, they got absolutely lucky. And it's a shame that with these jersey patch partners, as they like to call them, rather than just obnoxious jersey ads, with those advertisements, They've kind of killed some of these jerseys because it's a shame we never got this jersey without a TD ad. It is a crime to hockey that that jersey has to exist with the sponsor on it for the rest of history.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I will, without being too much of a spoiler alert, I will point out to the Canucks not to get too cocky, because as I mentioned, the Sharks branding has been relatively consistently good over the years. As we'll find out in the bottom five next episode, there is no team with a greater disparity between their best and their worst jerseys than the Vancouver Canucks. And that's all I'm going to say for now. You'll have to tune in next week for the bottom
Don't
five.
forget to tune in next week when we go over our top 5 worst jerseys of all time. I'm a little bit shocked you didn't like the Colorado Avalanche jersey, considering you would go to the games and everything, and I've complimented those a lot at nauseum. But hey, I mean the fact is though we had I think 2 jerseys that were the exact same, in the exact same spot, I believe. So that's very interesting when you look at it.
Well, and those ones must be correct.
Yep. So there you have it, everyone. Thank you for listening to the second ever episode of Corkies Corner. We look forward to seeing you guys next week for the top 5 ugliest jerseys of all time. And yeah, I'll see you guys. We'll see you guys for the next one. If you guys like the content we're producing on the channel here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and click the bell to get notified whenever I either talk about something Carolina Hurricanes related or for next week's edition of Korkies Corner, so you can be the first one to watch it. We'll see you guys next week. Anything you want to say on the way out, Dad?
Stay horny, my friends.
Oh, good God, Dad. This is a family show. All right.